Candler used to be a preacher's wife. Down in Carolina, come on y'all, her husband, the Reverend Doyle Summerhill, could preach up a storm. Yea, though I walk through the valley, he'd say. Carolina was farm country, and when Candler was growing up, as far as she could see, trees held so much summer that even the bees got tired by August. Now, it must have been during one of those long fly-buzzing nights when the heat had settled across the spine of the meadow that Candler decided rotary fans, weekly hairdos at the beauty parlor, and devil-driven sermons were gonna be markers in a book somebody else read. Nobody really knows what it was that made Candler restless. Some of those old folks say that if you live too close to the tracks and you hear the trains blow, won't be long before your kitchen starts to look like a diner that charges more for coffee than you are willing to pay. Or it might have been that hailstorm, the one that tore up half the tobacco in Coleman County and left Candler wide awake with her knees pulled up to her chest. Folks around that part of the country still talk about that storm. Ace Rivers down at the Creekview Cafe says that was the night that his boy Shelby decided to join the Merchant Marines. And Patrick Moss, he swears he heard his mama's ghost dancing on the tin roof just like they said she did when she was young and used to sneak off to the jazz clubs down in Birmingham. Well, it drove her daddy crazy until he gave in to the idea, and he decided that his daughter was probably better off down in Birmingham than up there in New York. And about that same time, she showed back up on his doorstep with a husband in one hand and a Bible in another. Now, to this day, Patrick Moss will tell you, he will tell you he is glad his mama did that. Now, folks around that part of the country will tell you that storm tore up a lot more than tobacco plants. Storms like that have a way of washing the biggest rats through a drain system. The kind of lightning and thunder that runs along behind those big chunks of ice has a way of lifting your skin right off the bone, hair and all. Shakes the topsoil loose, and it makes the crocs nervous. Some say that was the way it was between Doyle and Candler. Well, he didn't treat her bad. He just didn't treat her. Wasn't a whole lot different than somebody giving you a Hershey bar for your wedding anniversary and trying to convince you it's cake. Now Candler, she knew from the start that she shouldn't have gotten married. But like so many other girls looking for respectability, she fell for Reverend Summerhill, who talked the napkins off her mama's table and told her that the Lord had given him a vision and he was part of it. Now, restlessness is not something that comes over you like a new idea gives you a clear view of the mountains. It just scratches and pecks. It's like one of those park pigeons that's used to being fed. For Candler, it was more like hair growing out. No matter how you cut it, it still takes a year to get down to your shoulders, and then when it's down there, you don't even notice it. On the afternoon, Doyle rubbed his right index finger over the middle shelf in front of the fresh-dried coffee mugs and said, "Candler, God ain't never gonna tolerate this much dust even in hell." Was the afternoon. Candler shoved her chair back, walked across that kitchen floor, went upstairs, threw 2 suitcases on the bed, and that woman started to pack. And my friends, that's the beginning of Candler's adventures. I will tell you, she went on to do great things, and she did leave Doyle Summerhill behind. And she did it on her own. She redeemed herself. She took herself out into the world and made something of it, like we all can do. So I want to finish out with this little bit about a friend of mine and a fish. And it's about he had empathy for this fish. It's called catch and release. And in a way, Candler caught herself, and she released herself. And off she went, said goodbye to Doyle, and who knows where she is today. I know where she is, but I'll tell you that later. But my buddy Paul Pasquarella phoned me one day. I was in New York City. He was in Colorado fishing, a little trout fishing. Some of you might trout fish, right? And he had caught this huge trout, and he wanted to tell me about how to release the trout back into a fast-moving stream. So he filled it up, told me all about it, but the next day he called again because he wasn't satisfied, had to tell me more. And so here's how it played out. Not satisfied with our conversation yesterday about how to release a large trout into a fast-moving stream, Paul Pasquarella phoned again today. With my cell phone to my ear, I went down 6 flights of stairs. I crossed the lobby, stepped out onto the sidewalk behind a young couple walking west on 29th Street. Paul said, with wet hands, I took him to the shallows. He was in shock. I lured him gently into the easy flow. I moved him back and forth, nose to tail, until 3 bubbles of air emerged and he regained his strength, until finally, as if he were my own child, I released him. The couple turned south down 3rd Avenue talking about theater and what they plan to do later. You know, in any big city, no matter where you are in the world, you can fall out of the sky and splash into the river, and nobody will notice you. Now, who wants that? Who wants that? Everybody knows there's juice in giving yourself over to your dazzle, your electricity, your swagger, your soul-spirited, fire-breathing, sword-swallowing days under the big top where trapeze artists soar. Take yourself to the shallows. Lower yourself gently into the easy flow. Move yourself back and forth, head to toe, until 3 bubbles of air emerge and you regain your strength, until finally, as if you were your own child, release yourself back into the unreachable depths and velocity of the breaching stream. What is it inside your imagination that keeps surprising you? Release yourself back into the unreachable depths and velocity of the breaching stream. Thank you.